Here we are in the next one. Welcome back, episode 4. This time, I think I'm kind of marrying all three of the past ones into one big story. And hopefully, I can fit it into approximately 10 minutes because I'm really liking that format. So, I was watching this video today, like as I'm recording it, not today as when it came out. And I'll link to the video. It's one of Dr. K's videos. I don't know if you've heard of him, but he does Twitch streaming and he puts his videos on YouTube under the Healthy Gamer tag or whatever. And I was watching his video on brain rot, and he was talking about how to overcome it. And I'm like really involved with it because I'm like, this sounds like me. Like, a good majority of his videos are like, this sounds like me. Give me the information. He's basically teaching me how to get the cheat codes for my brain to operate it efficiently. Like we should be getting at birth. Like, seriously, why are we born with this like super intelligent, super useful brain thing, but no idea how to use it? We just got to figure it out. Every generation just has to figure it out. That just seems baffling to me. We should start giving more. I guess we teach children how to use their brains to some degree, but like we don't even really understand what we're using half the time. So we're not teaching them the fullness. We can do so much more with it. Anyway, that's another thing. So I was listening to him talk about how to overcome it, and while I was listening to that, I was thinking of, well, it's yesterday from today, but whatever. So the day prior, I had been thinking about that whole punished beauty thing that I talked about in the second one here, and trying to figure out with my partner, because my partner is like, he never intended to discourage me from dressing attractive or anything. In fact, he specifically would always like tell me, like, I want you to dress the way you feel comfortable. If you want to, look sexy, then look sexy. It's always your choice. Like, that's not something he ever wanted to take away from me. And he's like, let me know if there's anything that I can do. And I had been thinking about that while, after recording the episode, and I'm like, here's what we can do. We can take our Saturday date night, and maybe we could go to Goodwill for clothes shopping. Now you might be scoffing, ugh, Goodwill's so terrible. Yeah, but it's super cheap. You can go there and get a huge variety of different styles and not be like shoehorned into one thing. So I used to do this on a yearly basis. Just go to Goodwill, give myself $100 limit. I mean, that gives you like literally like 2 wardrobes worth of clothing, and give me the opportunity to kind of remake myself. And like at least half of the clothes wouldn't stick, and the next year I would give them back to Goodwill to resell to somebody else. But that's beside the point. For $100 a year, I managed my self-esteem and kept up with adapting to my body as it changed. And I haven't done that in, God, it's got to be at least 5 years, maybe longer. I don't know. It's been a long time. And so I'm like, okay, well, if I feel this diminished feeling of like physical self, my sense of physical self, I don't have that pride in owning a body anymore and what it can do, then this is the one thing I know I did do that seemed to help with that. And I know that there's other things like going on walks and doing yoga. I used to do all those things, and I don't do them now. But I don't feel like I can do those. Those are things that, you don't make the decision to do it once. It's not one big thing that can give you something over a long period of time. Going to go clothes shopping, however, you put that energy in one day, and then you have the clothes, and every time you wear the clothes, and yeah, there's a little bit of energy in like deciding to wear the clothes, because some of these clothes are kind of risky. Like I got one that's basically like just almost like a shirt that's a bra, and it shows my belly, which I'm like the most insecure about because it sticks out a whole lot from me being eating really badly. And I'm like, it's a decision. It's going to take energy and a decision to make me wear that. But I will. I'll at least be able to wear it around the house and like rebuild my self-esteem and do all that. But the biggest chunk of energy goes into actually getting the clothes. And then I have a whole bunch of different clothes that take different amounts of energy to will myself to wear. Some of them won't take much at all, and I can just slowly allow that to rebuild my self-esteem. Brilliant, right? So I'm thinking about that while I'm listening to Dr. K. And he's talking about how, you tackle one thing, and then you suddenly have the energy to like think, well, if I was able to tackle this thing, then maybe I can tackle that thing. And I'm like, oh my God, that just happened just yesterday because we went to do the Goodwill shopping, and a whole bunch of things happened there. You can't do the dressing room thing anymore, which really bugged me. Like I was a big ball of anxiety, and I got this huge basket of clothes that when we got to the thing, I forgot that they don't do bags anymore. And I have bags from when we used to do it. So like I have these giant Goodwill bags that I used to like bring with me and then like put the stuff into those bags so that I could just reuse those bags indefinitely. But I was so like terrified of this whole thing. It was just way too much. I'm on meds for anxiety, and it was still just too much. It was too much. But that's okay because we got through it. And I apologized afterwards. I was like, I feel like I embarrassed you because we didn't have any bags and I bought so much stuff. And he's all like, dude, it's fine. Like, I wasn't embarrassed at all. It's their fault for not providing any dressing rooms for you to pare down your selection. And the fact that they don't give you bags anymore. Like, this is, it's not all your fault. And I'm like, okay, cool. So we get home and we finish out our date night. We have some comfort food, and we went and played a game that he had bought while it was on sale earlier this week, and had a great time. We had a really great time. And then after he finished, he was like, we got to stop playing the game. I need to calm down to get ready to go to bed. We're like an hour away from going to bed. And then suddenly I'm like, there is technically enough time for me to do the second half of the flashback episode, or not episode, article that I was doing for Monster Alley. Little bit of backstory here. I've been burnt out on Medium for at least a week and a half. Every time I think about doing anything on Medium, there's like this visceral reaction in my body that's just like, no, we're not going to let you do that. And no matter how much I want to, it's just not going to happen. So the fact that I had that thought, I was like, oh, well, I'd already kind of given up on getting it out at all. Like, I was just going to give up on the flashback series in general. But I was like, well, but if I have this feeling saying, maybe I could do it, and let's just do it. Like see where we get. I don't have to finish it if it gets to be too much, but if I feel like I can tackle it, then let's try. And I did. And I got it finished. It was actually surprisingly easy. And like I said, listening to Dr. K and him being like, yeah, you tackle one thing, and then your brain's like, well, maybe we can tackle this other thing. That same thing happened to me. I find that to be amazing. I was refueled. I'm not going to like get crazy and say that I was like completely refueled to just get back into all the Medium stuff, but I was refueled to do this one thing that I didn't think I was going to ever do. I was like, well, maybe this was just another one of those failed attempts at something that I tried to do. There's plenty of those. If you go back through like all of my Medium articles, you will just see it's littered with all these things that I was like, oh, this is a great idea, but then I just couldn't keep it up, and I was like, oh, whatever, we'll move on to the next thing. And so I'm like, I'm not that worried about any one particular thing sticking. But I do think that this process of me confronting one thing, like Dr. K was talking about in the video, me confronting one thing that does, affect my view of myself and I don't know if you can hear that, but it's so rude. There's somebody on a motorcycle. But me tackling these things that don't seem related will pull them together because they're all related through me, because it's all my energy and my views and beliefs about myself and what I can do, what I'm capable of doing, and my mind behind the scenes without my conscious permission making decisions for me based on that information. I just find that to be very interesting, and I wanted to share that with you guys today. Go watch his video. I strongly recommend it. It's like a half an hour, but it's worth it, I think, for the information that it presents. All right, well, that's about it for this time. So I'll catch you in the next one.